We have some guests on the line, which are some new owners. So welcome, Jim. I know you guys are on mute, and Sheila. And in the chat, just so I know, Jim, I know you have a previous commitment and you've had quite a day. Quite a day, Sheila. I know you're here too. So since we have this opportunity before going further, let me do a pre-introduction. Jim, I'll bring you on the line. And then Jim, once we get through, I know you got to go. Then Sheila, I'll turn to you. Is that okay for the both of you if we do that in that order? And Jim and Sheila are recent owners and purchasers. They've been in Nicaragua. They stayed here, but they're not here to tell you how great a guy I am. What I want to tell you is their experience of some of the stuff they've been looking at, read, or their opinions have been changed. And I just want everybody who's watching this video or this replay or wherever you're seeing this message to hear it from somebody else what their experience was in Nicaragua. So with that, Jim, I think you have the ability to go ahead and unmute yourself. How you doing, Jim?
I'm good. Hi.
Excellent. Jim's calling in from, I guess you're back home, right?
Yeah, I am. I'm in San Leandro, California, which is about 20 minutes from San Francisco.
Jim's had an interesting day because he was flying to Puerto Vallarta today. He was actually going to be meeting my wife there, and his plane got turned around because of some surprise unknown factors that I'm sure you were interested. But we're not here to talk about that and what's happening in Puerto Vallarta. Jim, we're here on this line today. This is part of our presentation, just as a reminder to our audience who just might be tuning in now or coming in late. We've just gotten through a bit of a story of Grupo Mariana, a little bit of how things started, barely even into 7 more hours of what will likely be a lot more information. But since you're here today, I felt that you could add a lot of value. And I'm not going to ask any questions. I'm going to let people hear it from your own words. For those who are listening to Jim, all right, and something comes to mind because he might not be looking at the chat, please feel free to type into the chat, or you're watching the replay, wherever this might be, questions that might come to mind, because in the case that you're thinking them, other people might be thinking them also, and we can certainly answer them for you in another modal opportunity to deliver that information. So Jim, with that said, you've come to Nicaragua, you just bought 5 lots from our property, but the important part there is I want to hear about, before you decided to buy, what were you doing? Where were you? How'd that all come about?
Yeah, a little about me. I'm a carpenter by trade. I'm a general contractor. And, about in 2017, I visited Costa Rica. And, at that time I was thinking, it'd really be nice if I could have a house right here on the beach. I loved it. And so since 2017, I've been checking all over the place, looking for a place that I could build my own house and live on the beach and, make a nice, relaxing life for myself. And I worked hard all my life and thought, well, this is something I really, really would like to have and like to do. So a couple months later, I went back to Costa Rica. I looked all over. And, then, I continued looking different places, different countries. I went to Honduras, checked out Panama, and looked at a lot of different deals that I saw online, and I followed through with it, and I checked them out. And then I contacted Kevin last year, and he was on his way to Canada to renew his passport, and so he made a stop off in San Francisco.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, right. And so anyhow, we were going to meet for a couple hours and kind of go into details. Well, we met around 8:30, 9 o'clock, and around 3:30 in the afternoon, he realized he had to get going. But we spent the whole day going over details about Nicaragua and the property and all the things that are going to be done. And at the end of the day, it's like he said, "Well, you ready to sign?" I said, "Well, wait a minute." My partner said, "No, she's not going to do it without seeing it."
Yeah. Well, that was just a deposit, right, Jim? I was saying, you guys ready to put down a deposit, right?
Deposit. She didn't want to do anything without seeing it. So anyhow, I said, "Look, we'll just come down there and we'll check it out." And so we did. So then later on last year, I think it was in October, November. I think it was October. We went down there and we spent 10 days with Kevin, and we went and we checked out the property. We went all over Nicaragua and looked at other properties and other deals that are out there and available. And we also did a little bit of sightseeing to get to know the country.
Sorry, Jim. Just to interrupt you for a second, because a thought came to my mind. Because you said you came into the country. to check out what was going on. But I know when we met, you had also just been to Costa Rica and had quite an experience trying to meet up with agents that didn't show up. Before we
Yeah.
go forward, maybe just draw a parallel between entering into the country and hoping that a real estate agent
Let
shows
me go
up
back to that.
versus your
Go
experience.
back to
Yeah.
the costume because I saw the month before I was going to go down to meet with Kevin in Nicaragua. I was there in Costa Rica again because I already had arrangements to go down there again and look for more properties. And it was terrible. The agents, all they wanted to do is sell. They didn't care what they're selling. They just wanted to make a deal. You know, um, I saw properties that were not what they said they were. You know, ocean view. I got there to the property. No, it was close to the ocean. Yeah, in about a mile. You couldn't see it. You know, if you went somewhere else, you could see the ocean. You know, the lots were tiny, like 3,500 square feet, and the house was built on. It was a new home. It was really nice. But the thing is you were cramped, and you couldn't see the beach. You know, then so, and I probably went to about 5 or 6 different places again in Costa Rica, and I was like, I was really disappointed. You know, people were just, they didn't care. You know, they just want to make a sale, and they didn't show up for appointments. I had an appointment with somebody, and then, well, I was there. It was a Saturday morning. The person said, well, I'm not in Costa Rica right now. I'm in the States. And so they had me meet with somebody else. I met with that person. He showed me a couple of the places, and it wasn't anything what we talked about. You know, and so I got to run around. I spent a lot of time and a lot of money going to different places that failed. It wasn't what it was supposed to be. But when I met with Kevin, you know, it was what he said. It was raw land. And it was like, you know, it was a little more challenging because his property, we have to get the water there. We have to get the electricity there, you know. But after going through these other places, he told me up front that we need to get these things there. And he told me, this is where we are. This is what I've been doing. And, you know, but when I saw the property and saw that, okay, here, I could get my house right here on the beach. This is what it's going to cost me. This is what I still have to go through. And this is how much I think it's going to take because we calculated the getting the water there and getting the electricity there. When I was there, we also met with the engineers. It was a great opportunity, you know, for me as a contractor, you know, I was able to see the side, look at the plans, talk to the engineers, and know the whole scope and see it in real time, what I know it's going to take. And, you know, it's part of it is getting money together and getting it done. But, you know, after it was all said and done, I felt like this is it. This is the perfect place for me because I get in at a good time. You know, he's not only selling you land, he's selling you.
Tim, do you see this? Sorry, I'm going to interrupt just for a second. I think, you know, as you're talking, or we might be watching the replay, I want to show my screen here. When Jim came, okay,
I know where this is.
Tim, Jim came in October, the absolute worst time. Tell him what you see here. I'm gonna play the video on mute, but describe what you saw.
Well, this is where they're building the new highway. This new highway cuts right through the property, right about almost midway up, all the way across the land. And those tracks were probably our tracks as we went from the road that goes from the gate to the property way at the top. And it cuts through, and these guys are digging and cutting in a new road, a new highway. And so it's like, wow, you know, this is happening right now when I'm here. And, but, you know, I can see that that's a really good thing because this is going to be the road in. This is going to be the way that people are going to get there. This is the future. You see the future happening right now. And, you know, for me, I see it. When I was a kid, they were building a freeway back behind my house. They got rid of hounds, got rid of forest, and they built this big freeway right in my backyard, basically. And I saw progress. And this is what I see now also happening in Nicaragua when I went down there and in November and saw, okay, this road's going in. we're seeing that this is the road to get to where I'm going to have my home in in about a year. So anyhow, it didn't scare me because it made me enlightened because I knew this is the road to my new house.
Yeah.
So
No,
when we
pretty,
did get across this how we went down, we got to uh, as far as we could go because it was very wet. The the road that was cut in had been grown over with weeds, and so we not just weeds, trees, and everything else. So we walked down, we hiked down to the beach. And we walked along the beach, and it was really nice. It was still a cloudy day, like you see there. You don't see blue skies, but it was good. We got to where Kevin said, "Okay, there is a road cut in here," and so
I
if
remember
we
that.
cut across that road, and we did, and we could see where the lots are, the beach lots.
There's the road. We were walking down that. Remember, Jim?
Yeah, yes. And anyhow, I couldn't find the markers for the lots, but I had an idea of whereabouts we were. And it's overgrown. I'm sure now it's getting better as the last few months people have been working there and clearing the lots and getting ready, and now the roads that are actually on the property are getting cleared. They're starting, I think, coming this week, and I'm kind of excited because I'm going back there next month. Anyhow, I did sign in. I was wanted to buy a lot, but then there's an opportunity here that Kevin presented to me, and I thought this is a real good idea. So I not only got Kevin keeps saying 5, but he forgot I got 6 lots. I have 6 lots, and I'm excited. Next month, I'm going to go down there. I expect to see it clear, see my lot smart, and then I'm going to say, okay, this is where I'm building this house. This is where I'm building this house, and these other ones, I've got plans for those, and that's at a little later date. But my plan is to go down there. I'm going to go ahead and get the architect signed up, and he's going to start designing my homes. I've got some ideas on one of the houses, exactly what I want. The other house, I'm still working on that plan. And so, but next month when I go down there, I intend to sign up the architect and have him design 2 houses. So that way, later this year, right after the rainy season, as soon as that road is open, I'm going to start construction on 2 homes. And
the road looks significantly different now.
Yeah,
Jim,
looks a lot.
a lot different. It was 10 feet under, and now it's 10 feet above.
Yeah. So I'm really excited. As far as value, that's one thing that Kevin gives you with this is value. The lots are really a good size, 60 by 250. That's a third of an acre. It's wonderful. So I've got actually 2 acres of land right on the ocean. I can't wait. I'm stoked. I was at the airport. Kevin told me I was going to visit Puerto Vallarta. I had another event there with some other people. I'm trying to learn Spanish, and the school I attended or am attending was going to have an event down in Puerto Vallarta, and so I was supposed to go down there and meet with all these people. And I got halfway there. The captain gets online and says, "He's sorry, but there's things that are happening in Puerto Vallarta, and we're turning around, going back to San Francisco." That was very disappointing. Ruined my day. But anyhow, so I'm back home today. Yeah, it looks pretty bad. I might go there tomorrow. We'll see. It just depends. I've rescheduled.
Sorry, Jim, just interrupt you for a second. When you came to Nicaragua, it just a funny backdrop. I'm going to ask the question at the end of what I'm going to say, just a preamble. But when I spoke with Jim and he was coming down, I had met him already. And Jim, he's the type of guy who was like, okay, I'm going to come down there for 10 days. I'm going to check things out. And being that I am like, well, just come stay with me for a couple of days. No problem. And Jim's like, okay, I'm going to come down for a couple of days with Mary. We'll stay with you. Then we're going to go out and look around because I want to see the rest of the country. So I'm like, yeah, no problem. Whatever. When you get down here, you can look at all the hotels in the site. You don't have to stay at my place the whole time, but you're welcome to like get your bearings when you come into the country. So Jim comes in, and I think he's going to stay for 3 days. And I'm not sure if he's looking for another place or not. And I'm like, okay, I planned to spend 3 days with Jim, and I did the whole Nicaraguan thing and Granada and the lake. We had a good time and saw the whole country in 3 days. But because I already had plans, I'm like, I'm going down south on Wednesday. The driver's coming. I got a car rented. Do you want to come? I don't know what Jim's plan is. He didn't share with me. And he's like, yeah, sure, no problem. So Jim stays a little longer, right? And then I'm like, okay, I'm going, I'm going north in a couple of days. You want to come? Because again, I still don't know what his plans are. He's meeting with my architects. Oh, you know what? I'll finish the story. Long story short, Jim stayed with me for 10 days in my house, and we saw like quite a bit, right, Jim? We started 6:37 in the morning to 10 o'clock at night. You're with me. Like, I mean, wouldn't you say that it's pretty tough for someone to be someone other than they are when you're with them 24/7 for 10 days? Like, what was that experience like to have that experience so close to a developer? Because I don't think that's a normal thing.
It was totally different experience. Right now I feel like family with Kevin. I haven't met his wife. I did talk to her on the phone today, but I still feel like part of the family. And you won't get that from any other developer, any other company that is selling you property, because they're just not there. They're just salesmen trying to sell you anything they can. Uh, and Kevin's selling you what is real. The lots, they're a great size. I've checked all over. I did find other lots of exactly the same size. That was in Honduras. They told me it's an hour from the airport. So I said, okay, I'll go. I went there. I got off the plane in Honduras, had to get on another plane, flew about an hour and a half to another airport. They had me stay there. And then the next day, we were going to go to the property. Well, it was 3.5 hours by car on a road that had been paved many years ago and needs to repair quite a bit. So it wasn't an hour from the airport. It was terrible. I get there, the lots were great, except that there were sand dunes piled all of them, and so that would have to be cleared on both lots. The price was, you know, I think it's similar, about 150,000 for each lot, and I was considering two of them.
Sir, Jim, sorry to interrupt. Just from a timestamp point of view, I want to be respectful to your time, but I want to ask you, just for the people that are watching this and might be coming on later and in replay, I believe what we've done in our project to bring transparency and moving forward. I'd like to hear from your voice, because I know what I think and I could say and the benefit of it, but I want the people to understand how in which we structured when you buy something, that whole kind of 60-40 split, and being able to get behind the scenes with the civil engineer and take part in that sort of development of the project. How important was that for you? And what's your experience with that?
oh, that was something else. Um, nobody, nobody else out there would do this, because it would be their project, they're running it, and it's going to be how they want it. Here, um, I purchased property, and part of my money went directly to Kevin. Part of my money I would go directly to the contractor that was getting in there and getting the water down to the lot. So I would release money as I saw things getting done, and that made me feel like not just the owner of my little lot or my 6 lots, but owner, and responsible for the project and making the whole thing happen.
Right. And not only that, but isn't there something a little more that you're forgetting about, something to do with your phone and WhatsApp,
On my phone, WhatsApp. Well,
the group?
yeah, well, we do have a group there that is part of, it's for the owners and that are people that are participating in getting everything done. I know that Sheila's going to come up, and their part of their funds are also going directly to the contractor to get things done, and so they will have a say as well. And they get to see progress happen, and they will release money as they see it happen. It's just like, you're not just owner of your lot, you're an owner of the whole project, and
That's
you're
yeah.
part of everything. And no other developer makes you feel like this. Nobody else will do this kind of deal.
Okay, just to clarify so that people understand, and certainly it'll be something that I cover later on, but for those of you watching right now, what we're talking about with the individual owners sending money according to their agreements, what they might be, is the goal of getting infrastructure done as quick as possible. And so when people are buying new properties from us, the contracts that we write, 60% of the money goes to the development company, which is me, and 40% goes directly to the engineer. And when the funds are with the engineer, the individual owners take part in a group, we call it the Playa Mariana Infrastructure Group. And you get and take part in the pictures and the progress every day. You get to see the budgets and the timelines. And you're participating with this because you know ultimately the goal is to get the services and utilities to the project. That's the ultimate goal. So the people coming in understand that and buy into that we are a development in progress, but it's not a development that, we hope we get that permit, or we hope all those things are done, which we're going to cover in the due diligence period in 5 hours. But right now, Jim, I want to, I know you got to go to your event tonight, but just as a final, if there's some one thing that for a takeaway for somebody watching this, when they would go or think about buying property in a foreign country, what might be the most important things to you that they should be looking for with a developer?
I don't know. There's so many things that have happened here that are different than any project I'm involved with. But the feeling of being part of something that you're not just another name or another number, you're part of the project. You're part of the team to make it all happen. And I don't know, it's a great feeling. I just can't tell you how excited I am about how things are happening. You a few months ago, or a couple months ago, they started to get the well going and get the water happening, and so the progress that's happened in the last just month and a half has been great because you see, okay, this is happening, the water is getting there. But now the master plan is going to be ready in a couple of days, and so then we have a direction where the pipeline is going to go to get the water from the well down to the lots that I'll be drinking in a few months when I'm down there.
That's right. That's right.
And,
That's amazing.
Showering.
Jim is being, just to give you guys a little sense, my philosophy, which you'll learn in just a moment, I'm going to explain to you, has always been to hire the best people. When you see the team that I've been around for the last 20 years and invested a lot of money in that experience, I've always taken the mindset that I don't know everything, and probably I know a lot less than I think I do. That when I can learn from somebody, I try to learn. It's not that we're some developer or some big guy and it has to be our way. Jim, he took part in the meetings with electrical engineers. He took part in meetings with the architect. When people get involved in a project, it is like a family because we all have a same common goal, which is to develop the property. But Jim is being very modest because he's been very helpful too in our WhatsApp group because he asks amazing good questions to our engineers, stuff that sometimes I don't know because I don't worry about those details. But Jim's been around construction for a long time, and so he asks really great questions, and it's just nice to have him in the group, keeping the engineer honest and asking questions like, why so long for the concrete, and why don't you get it delivered and not pour it on site? How come? And here come the answers that are revealed and why that is. So Jim, thank you so much. Say hello to Mary for me. The tree is growing back, so when is she coming with you in March to the groundbreaking event?
Yeah, she is.
Oh, that's amazing. That's great. That's excellent.
In fact, a friend of mine's coming with me as well. I have to go to Costa Rica again because he has some property in Costa Rica. He's owned them for 20 years and he hasn't built anything on them yet.
Well, let's hope that he does. All right. Jim, thanks so much. I know you're taking off. I really appreciate all your words of kindness. We're like, Marie and I are more than happy to welcome you here. Glad you're here. And we'll keep it up. We'll keep sending all that progress, like what's going on right now. And what other developer does like a 7-8 hour presentation a night to try and tell the world about Nicaragua and their development, right? Live online.
Well, I want to thank you for having me. And I look forward to seeing you next month when I'm down there. And if I don't get back to Puerto Vallarta this week and I don't get to meet with your wife, I know that she'll be down there and I'll meet her then. So
okay, super. Thanks, Jim. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Okay, see you later, Jim. Have a great night. So that's Jim Valdez, one of our new owners who has 6 lots. 6 lots. Am I going to get that right? 6 lots. I can't believe I sold him 6 lots. Like, that's a lot of beachfront lots. He almost as many as I do now. I certainly hope everybody who was watching that got a good piece of information of when you go into a country, things to look for, not only with the developer, but the feeling and the spirit of being part of something. And the interesting thing about that, I'm so glad he said that, because before I bring Sheila on, and I know Sheila's ready too, I want to respect her time. In the 5th day of my one country away challenge, the whole entire hour, was once we got through the first day to eliminating properties and putting in a structure and knowing what the filter is and putting together your criteria and understanding your due diligence, how to talk to your spouse, not have an argument about you wanting to buy something. You get past all of that. At the end of the day, there is this core thing when looking for something that you need to feel like you belong. Because you start to buy into something where you're just a number or on the street. We didn't even talk about the privilege I gave Jim about his own street name. Okay. Valdez, Paseo de Valdez, right? And so we just so everybody knows, I'm disclosing now that that beachfront street has Jim's name on it because it was a very important part of the development in kickstarting things to where we are today. And so that's the kind of guy I am. I like to reward people. And so he has his name on a street in the development. So you just never know what surprises I'm going to come up with. But going back to what I was saying, the spirit of wanting to know where you belong, feeling like you belong is an important part of making that decision and shouldn't be overlooked at any time. And here within Group of Mariana, I wouldn't even say Group of Mariana. Let's put aside the corporate stuff for a second. I know, being a Canadian, married to a Nicaraguan in Nicaragua, there are many trips that I would, over the years, I've gone back to Canada when I lived in Nicaragua, or I've been in Panama for 6 months, or Mexico for 4 years, or the United States, wherever I've lived. Nicaragua at times can feel far away. You come into country and you have a great time, and that's all great. But when you go home, you shouldn't have the stress that you have this investment out of the country and, oh my gosh, what's going on? And I don't know. And I know that. And so it's always been an inner core belief of Marie and I that we want people to feel like that when you're not here, we're taking care of your land, we're taking care of your stuff. It's not just a job for us. We want to make sure that you're looked after and you're protected. And it's deep in our core and our philosophy. And not only because it's the right thing to do, but from a strictly marketing standpoint of view or sales, the reality is anybody that has a bad experience buying property in Nicaragua or a bad experience in general with the country is going to leave the country and tell way more people about the terrible experience that they had to scare people away. Whereas when the experience is positive, the same thing is going to happen, which they'll tell people how great it is. And then more people are going to want to come, which will then probably sell more real estate, whether it's me or somebody else. We may not be for everybody, and that's okay. But at least more people are coming into Nicaragua. And so because I'm married to Nicaragua, and my kids are Nicaraguan, my life is here in Nicaragua, I want to protect that reputation. Not only mine, because it's very important to me, but the reputation of Nicaragua. And I get very defensive when people try to bash Nicaragua, right? It's not that I'm biased. It's just that, you're talking trash, you know what you're talking about, I'm going to call you out. You might not like that, but I will. So with that in mind, there's no better time right now and to bring on our next special guest. All right. And this lady in her own right is quite a lady with the music in the car and karaoke. We'll get into that story in a little bit. But does she ever have a music repertoire with her partner, Lee? And I'll let her tell her about the experience. But I'm bringing Sheila on to speak in her own words. Just came back from Nicaragua, spending a week, 9 days with us in my house here.
Yes, a week.
A week. But she came to Nicaragua with something else in mind. And what I want to do is, I'm not going to say anything else because I want to spoil this. But I want to welcome Sheila, who's a very important part of this project now. And I feel like we're really getting to know each other really well. I can't wait for her to meet my wife and everybody else to come to Nicaragua. But I'm going to shut up. I'm just going to let Sheila talk in her own words of her experience and where she came, and where she is now. So with that, I want to bring on Sheila.
Well, thank you so much, Kevin. And first of all, I want to thank you for your hospitality. You're quite the tour guide. You know all the great places to go. You know how to make people feel welcome. And I went literally from being afraid to come to Nicaragua to falling in love with the country. It was crazy. Our travel advisories say don't go, reconsider. And I read all the things that they had said. And then we just actually went to Costa Rica in August for 12 days, and we traveled the country alone ourselves, me and Lee. And so we're very comfortable coming to Nicaragua after I got over the travel advisory warning and saw the beautiful people on the airplane, saw that Airlines and United Airlines fly there multiple times in a day. And the flight attendant's mother lives there. It's okay. So we met beautiful people, made friends on the plane, got there, fell in love with Granada, where you're staying, fell in love with all the other sites. You took us to the property. We were absolutely amazed at the view. We've been looking for years to find something near the ocean or ocean view in another country. And we're just so grateful that we finally found you. So I went from seriously not planning on coming, making Lee go by himself, because I was afraid I might not make it back. to
I remember Lee telling you that.
yeah, it's so funny to running into Americans and Canadians all over the sidewalks that are totally not afraid and totally enjoying and loving your that country. It's absolutely beautiful, and the people alone. We even walked at night, 2.5 blocks down to your square. It was absolutely charming. So, we are excited about the oceanfront property, but we're also excited about the rest of the country because there is other places to go. Like Grenada, like the islands. Up where the cigar factory was. So, you totally sold us. You sold us so much. We bought a second property, and
Ah, I know, it was
who
great, right?
knows? You never know, right?
Now,
So,
I want to tell them about the experience on the island that we went to, because I thought that was amazing.
oh my gosh, we felt like it was Fantasy Island. Kevin arranged for us to stop at a beautiful resort that was private exclusive. I think it only held 18 guests an evening. And I think the prices ranged like from 800 off season to 1400 a day. And we got to have a beautiful luncheon. The place was incredible. And just, it was like a sanctuary. We were greeted with rum and towelettes and had amazing company and an incredible lunch. I like their influence of vegetarian and vegan. It was just incredible. So thank you again for hooking us
Yeah.
up and
And what
showing
about
us.
Granada? I mean, Sheila, you stayed in Granada, you were walking everywhere. On the screen right now, I'm sharing a screen from the top of the tower in Granada of the area. But
Oh
we're having
yeah.
the groundbreaking event is right here in Granada. Could there be a better spot to have an event for people to come down and stay at?
No, it's so amazing. And we could always, what, the one thing I will say about this country is there's always a bench somewhere. In other cities, there's no place to sit. I have bad knees and I just love the country because I can tool around and I can have a break almost anywhere. Taxis everywhere, easy to catch a ride. The carriage ride's awesome.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, really easy to get around, I have to say. It just was a beautiful I see why you're in Granada, you
yeah, it
know.
was amazing.
Yeah. So
What about
thank you.
what about Lee? I mean, Lee's not on the line tonight, but and I kind of know, but when Lee came, he had a different opinion than you did. But what was Lee's overall take from the trip? Because he's told me, but I want the audience to get a sense from your own words what he experienced.
I guess for him, he felt very safe as well. But for him, he just couldn't believe the property. The fact that we could actually own oceanfront property and the disparity of wealth. He thought that was pretty remarkable that in fact you started a foundation to give back, but people are actually living with dirt floors, and working for a very slight wage,
It's interesting
so
you say that because if there was something that I would take away from Lee's trip that stood out to me, it was that he was touched by that disparity of wealth and particularly in the family that we're trying to help out that's on our property and that whole story behind it. I know he donated some money that we gave them, and I sent you a personal video of giving the funds. But I think that really got to him. I think that really got to
yes, yes, thank you. Besides the view of the beach.
him. Yeah.
But yes,
Yeah.
so you know what? They need outside money. They need their economy boosted. They can use development. Yeah. So we can help them in so many ways.
Absolutely. Well, that's amazing. And I think for the I think what you're saying is don't believe everything you see online, right? It's not always a narrative that's true more than maybe it's biased to whatever the alternative is. There's really no better way to experience than to come down here and avoid everything else you hear, right? Unless, of course, unless
Absolutely.
you're seeing video of
Absolutely.
people shooting on the street, then maybe, you could pretty well take that to be true. But other than that, the perception of a country, isn't it amazing how the perception could be so different than reality?
Yes, we toured. You had us touring the country. And one day
Especially the
12
last day,
hours.
12 hours that last
Yes.
day.
And I
That's
have to say the
yeah,
roads are amazing for travel.
yes.
They have, there are a lot of double lane what are they, curbs and sides, and it just we love the country, and actually it's not real commercialized either. That's something else that we love. Yeah.
It's still quiet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Authentic
Authentic, right? Now,
and good
wait,
food. Good food.
we stopped by. I remember before we went into Playa Mariana, we actually stopped by Pochimil, that little kind of community. I know I went out filming stuff and talking to people on quads, but you were
Yeah.
sitting at the beach under Palapa with Mike and Lee at that Pochimil, which was only 5 kilometers from our location. What did it
Yeah.
feel to know that when you're buying into a development is one thing, and we're kind of, oh, you're gonna have all this stuff and it'll happen over time, but you like just what will be 5 minutes down the road with the highway, you have that whole thing there. Describe to me what you felt in Pochimil because excuse me, a lot of people might not know that, but I would say that's a great amenity to the project.
Oh, absolutely. And it was a world away. It
Yeah.
was, watching all the fishermen go out, watching the sunset, the huge beach, just island life, or, not island life, but I should say oceanfront life. Um, and to know that you can get there by a four-wheeler is absolutely amazing. We love that aspect. You could go there for a beautiful cocktail, maybe some food, but just really cool to have something so close by, Very
That's a
fun.
it's a real advantage to us to have because I try to portray to people that when you're buying into a project, it's not just the project you're buying. You want to be in the spirit of the community. So understanding what's in the surrounding community because where are people going to come to watch and look over your house? Where are people going to come to clean the pool? Where are you going to go to get groceries? Having
Yeah.
that ability to have these close towns close by is really, really critical. And I think we're fortunate because we visited. I'm going to share my screen now while I talk in the background, then you can come on anytime. But I don't know if you saw this video yet, but I went, had Howard drop me off. And I walked from here, because you know where here is, I know you know where I am, and walked right to the beach and to talk about the local culture and what there is. But we have this amazing town, Massachusetts and Pochmil. But should that be important to someone? Should you not even care or being able to go into local culture from your
Um,
standpoint of view? How important was that when buying real estate?
So for us, it's very important because we
Okay.
care about the culture of other countries. To us, it just adds to our life. We like to share in other cultures, food and things like that. So we prefer that over something, more commercialized. Yeah, so I think it's very important to know where to go. And we're really excited that there's shopping, hospitals, and everything nearby.
Yeah, there's another video I just made, which I'll be playing a little bit later, but on this page. So those of you watching the replay, however you made it to this page and you see these links, the presentation you're seeing here today right now is online. This is actually you might say our order form page, but it has everything you possibly would want to know, learn, or check into, or videos, the start of getting to know the areas of Masachapa and Pochimil, what it's like to negotiate with the vendors and how much the prices are. And how do you go? How do you get a taxi ride to pull over for you? It's really fascinating. So I encourage anyone who's watching this, like watch all the videos on this page and go to the YouTube channel, subscribe, and watch out for more. Sheila, would you believe that of all the places that we went, and I'll let you talk about it, that the only place I was able to get all those videos and you saw what I was doing. I'd like you to describe the experience being with me on the road from a sales standpoint of view. What do you see me doing when we're stopping in places? Because the only video I've posted, and I know you've done a lot, is that Porta Salvador Allende. I'm not caught up yet to all the stuff after that, if you would believe it.
Oh, right, right. Well, you never stop. You're always working. So you're working every moment because you can see that there's something to talk about everywhere because you're just sharing. You're sharing the lifestyle, you're sharing Nicaragua. So it's everywhere and it's everywhere you go. And it's really, really important, I think, for everyone to see. If you go, you need to go for at least a week. I wouldn't go less than
Right.
get to see some
There's
of the
no way.
country.
We spent a day on the project, and that wasn't even really a long time. Not that there was a
Right.
lot to see right now, but between the coastal highway and everything, that'll change. But seeing the other parts of the country, it takes time, doesn't it, to drive
It
around?
does. But it gives you the overall feeling of what it's all about. And yeah, it's, they needed a good tagline, like Costa Rica's got. Like you said, I think you said you had one.
Yeah, well, in the old days, it was experienced the new Nicaragua, but that was 20 years ago. So Nicaragua is not that new. When I first started, just for the benefit of the audience, you know, everybody was saying it's Costa Rica of 20 years ago. It's Costa Rica 20 years ago. And that may have been true, but now it's more like Costa Rica of 40 years ago when comparing it to Nicaragua. But not even that is true because it depends what area of the country you're in. So that could be very misleading to think that wherever you're going to buy in the country, you're going to expect to find prices really cheap. It's just not like that.
Right, right. Well, we're excited, Kevin, and we can't wait. This has got good momentum, and we're excited to be in on the ground floor.
Yeah, no, it's amazing having it here. It's just we got to get more and more people down here to see what I'm going to show on the screen. Because tell me what you were thinking when you were sitting and you were looking at this.
Oh, yeah, the sunset. That was just incredible. And one of our favorite places to go is Key West, and we stay at a beautiful place on the wrong side of Florida where you can't see the sunset. So we always have to go to the sunset. I'm just so excited that it could be out my front window, out my front door to
Right.
see that sunset.
What I love most about Nicaragua over the years is, especially when you're on the property. I don't know well, we weren't there, but in some of the videos you can see it. It feels like the sun is not out some far in the horizon, like it is, but somehow it feels like it's right on top of you. It's the
Oh,
it's
sure.
I don't know if you got that feeling, but when it was coming down, it feels like you just reach out there and grab it. It's like feels that close to you.
Yeah, I love the sunset and the view from the property is amazing.
Yeah, it's gonna be especially the two levels and the two tiers and how things are. So
Yeah,
that's
the
just
view.
truly amazing. Well, I don't want to use up all your time. Maybe for just to leave our viewers or the people listening to us or maybe just a couple of things that come to your mind that might be the most important thing, your experience with Nicaragua. What can you what can you just tell someone like no BS, like, you know, to give them a push towards Nicaragua and give it a chance?
I guess don't be afraid, number one, like I was. Don't be afraid. It's an adventure and experience everything that Nicaragua has to offer. Go on the tours, go with Kevin. That's, you know what, that was the best thing we ever could have done. I have to say, we've taken a lot of trips, and Kevin, having you as our tour guide, made it the best trip ever.
Not
We
only
just got to do
we had
so much.
multiple drivers, right?
Yes, you took us, you knew everywhere to take us, and we got to see so much in such a short period of time, but you paced it so well. And that the private dinner, meeting your people, meeting your team, we feel like we got to know them. So we're very eternally grateful for that. Eduardo, you know, Don, and
Donald,
there's
Dalia, and you were exchanging
Dahlia.
Instagram profiles with all of our team members' wives and things like that.
Yes, so they're real people and they're amazing. And we're very excited about this infrastructure and in the movement it has. So thanks, Kevin, for all your hard work.
Oh no, I appreciate that. But one thing I want to because I know it from me, but I believe Jim imparted the same thing that I believe that we're trying to do. When Jim experienced and mentioned that whole kind of feeling like you're part of it and it's kind of like family, is that important to you? Did you feel that same? I mean, I think I know the answer, but I don't want to put the words in your mouth. But
Well, it
does that?
made everything so easy, Kevin. It took all the doubt away. You're very transparent. That made everything so much easier. Spending the time with you, getting to know you, and get to hear your stories. We love all your books and your
Yeah,
pamphlets. You know
those are the ones.
the
Those are the ones
brief, the
behind me over there, right?
Nicaraguan,
All
yeah,
that
the
stuff that's on the
Nicaraguan
table.
brief. Yes,
Yeah.
we love it all. So we love all of that. But yeah, that made everything so easy and it made us so comfortable that we bought a second property, Kevin.
Great. I
That's
know.
how
Just
good. That's what it was like it's totally natural. It was a better place in the stock market to put our
right.
money right now.
And I think the funny part is people might be listening to this and like, oh yeah, she bought two lots, like, like whatever. But I mean, I don't think they understand. Like Lee was a salesperson at a very high-end car dealership, a manager, and
Yes.
here's a sales guy selling to a sales guy. Like,
Yeah,
and
we're a hard sell. We love to be
right,
sold though, Kevin. We love to be
right.
sold. You
No, but
know,
that's interesting you say that. I mean, of course, I can be on the business side, but did you feel like you're being sold when you?
not at all. No, not at all. You informed us. You educated us. We did our research. Trust me, we did our research. We looked for anything, everything, and we're just really grateful that we did it when we did it. That we've been researching and he's been looking because we've been looking for years, and we never knew for sure. Location to us was very important because we want guests. So airport to that new highway is a super huge sell for us.
Yeah, that's a big one for sure.
Yes, transportation back and forth, guests, things like that. So, no, it just took all the guesswork out. You
Okay,
made it
well,
so easy, Kevin. So thank you. Thank
are
you
you
for
coming?
all you have to offer. Everyone needs to come see you.
Are you coming back for the event? Can you gather up Lee to get back on a plane and get down here in March?
I know we would love to. We have a lot going on in March, but we know
Sure.
what? If there's a will, there's a way. So, you
That's
know
great.
what? We'd love to be there, Kevin. You know it's true.
That's
Thank
great. Well, I
you.
appreciate that. Thank you, everybody. I hope you guys appreciate that. I'll take you off speak or mute now. Thank you.
Thanks,
That's
Kevin.
Sheila from Wisconsin. Wisconsin? Did I get that right? Oh my gosh, it's getting late. I think so.
Yes, Wisconsin,
Yeah, okay, I
Delavan,
got it right. I know I
Wisconsin.
was getting it right. And I think it's pretty cold there now, isn't it?
Yes, in the 20s.
Okay, all right. I'll let you go now. I won't interrupt you anymore.
Okay, good
So
night.
that's Sheila John, everybody, and she's amazing. And just so you know, Sheila stayed at my house, and Lee would go off to bed, and Sheila and I had conversations for like another hour, an hour and a half, and she asked some really good questions. And just like I had some good stories, Sheila has some amazing stories too. And that's what happens when you come down to Nicaragua and get to spend some time. Hopefully, you get to spend time with me because I really do enjoy meeting everybody that comes because I'm the one that is protecting everything that you have here once you leave. And so my job and my goal and my philosophy is to help you out as much as possible. So I see Michael's on the line. Michael, in the chat, or you can come off mute. Would you be opposed to coming on the line and just sharing some of your experiences as an owner and been in Nicaragua now a few times over the last 6 months and spending time with me? Would you be willing to do that?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, amazing. Hey, Mike, how's it going? I can't see your face, but it's okay if you don't want to show your face. Maybe oh, there
There
you
I
go.
am.
Hey, there's Michael. Okay, that's great. So let me change it to this gallery view or maybe this view speaker. This should be okay. Multi-speaker. Here we go. I want to give people a multi-speaker view. Okay, so just as a bit of a backdrop, Mike coming on the line right now is someone who's been involved with Grupo Mariana for 20 years now, was first
Yes.
attracted to international real estate by international living. He is an owner in our first project and our second project, and he's been more active in the resort development, helping other clients coming into the country. He's invested in different aspects of the business. So he may come from a biased position, but he's not here to tell you like, Kevin's a great guy. You guys already all see that already. I'm a great guy. Mike's here just to kind of tell you where he is in his point in life, what he's seen in and around with people looking, and more. I just wanted to tell you his own firsthand experience with Nicaragua. So with that, Mike, and that introduction, maybe share with the audience who might be reading this, what are some of the most important things for people to know about Nicaragua? Tell us about you, where you are now, and why Nicaragua.
Uh, where I am right now, I retired towards the end of last year, and but I've been involved with Kevin, as he said, for a little over 20 years. And my introduction to Nicaragua back then to even now, it's a beautiful country, beautiful weather, great people. It's just a great place to go and visit. Actually, nice thing to eventually be able to go and live there. And this development that he's working on now, and he has been, is going to end up being a beautiful, beautiful project for him and for everybody that's involved with it. And
Sorry, Mike, just to I just want to jump in there just to kind of
Sure.
guide you a little bit. In people's minds, I know when they're watching this or they might be watching this replay, they always have one or two things in the back of their mind that is like the fear of the unknown and failure, or but as it translates to maybe buying international real estate, besides maybe like I might spend more than I can afford and lose all my money, which rarely happens, but can. I think probably the elephant in the room is maybe the thought perception on safety in the country. Maybe you can speak to your what you've seen over the years, your recent visits, and what's going on that might change people's perception that what they might be reading or seeing is completely different than the reality on the ground. Because I could say it, but I'd rather to hear from you.
Well, my first visit to the country, I think was 2005. And the thing that I remember back then was that the highway system was very limited, basically a single lane each way. And to today, the highway system is much, much improved and basically two lanes both ways and very good condition throughout the country. And in reference to that too, the it is really the country itself. There's been more investment in reference to the country, and it is continuing to be more and more attractive as not only as an investment but a place to go and live.
Well, no question. I think even from our some of our recent visitors like Sheila and Lee, who were on the line in the last presentation, they came with, well, maybe not Lee, but definitely Sheila came with this idea of travel warnings and
Oh yeah.
don't come into, and then when you come into the country, it's completely different. I believe that one of the most surprising things are just how people realize it's just not what people think it is when they get here. What would you say for you and for the audience that's listening, if there's something to take away that surprised you the most personally, what would that be? And what surprised you the most about Nicaragua?
Well, I had never had anybody question in reference to the safety of the country until the last time I went, which was in January. And I had never heard it before, but Sheila brought it up, of course, and but there were other people that brought it to my attention. I still don't really know where that comes from. It is actually the safest country in Central America, and I never felt threatened at any time that I've been in the country. And the people are, I don't care if it's during the day or at nighttime. I've never had any issues in reference to people wanting to harm me in any sense or any aggressiveness from anybody. So I think, and I still don't know where that's coming from. There's got to be somebody that has an agenda in reference to that, but I've never been to a more safe country other than being in the United States. But even in the United States, there's definitely areas that are not the safest, especially at night. So it's been a very every time that I've been to the country, which is I think four times now or five times. I've never had any issues and everything's gone very smoothly and people have been very nice to deal with.
No, it's excellent. And, just as a point, and Mike, I'm not making fun of you when I say this, okay? But
Yeah.
Mike was just here in January and he stayed with me here at the office, Casa Mariana, and at the house, and he was here for 3 weeks. But Mike goes walking every day, okay, for from the house down to the lake, which is probably a couple of kilometers, a mile at least, right, Mike? It's at least
It was,
3,000
yeah,
steps.
I think down and back, I think is about 2 miles.
Okay, so Mike's walking every day for 3 weeks in shorts, white legs, okay, white face. Couldn't stand out more as a sore thumb in the middle
No,
of Nicaragua and completely
definitely
safe,
true.
right? Now, which is this is the perfect time. So, Mike, if I were to say for the people that are looking to come down, join us at our March Discovery event, they know they're going to stay in Granada, and you've been walking it in 2 minutes. Can you tell them what they're going to see and find and experience? What was your experience of what they expect to see and find?
Well, it's an old city, 500 years plus years old, and there's a lot to see. There's stores, there's restaurants, people walking around. It's just a very friendly place to be able to go. And no matter if it's a crowd or not a crowd, everybody conducts themselves properly, and there's no issues in reference to it. but it is it's a busy city, but it's a very walkable city too, and there's a lot to see.
Yeah, it makes sense why Granada is the hub of expat community in and
Yes,
around, not just in Granada proper, but there are little communities in and around Granada as well. So, oh, that's great. Well, Mike, I appreciate you sharing your experience. Now, oh, maybe just one more thing.
sure.
Mike, just to put things into relation, when Mike was in country back, he was here twice. He was here in October for a couple of weeks, and then he was again in
Yes.
January. And in October was the rainy season, and this is when our project started to get under construction, especially with the coastal highway. It was like a disaster compared to where it is now. But when can you just for the fun of it describe what things were in October to when you came in January? What was going on?
Well, you get the rainy season in October, and then you get the dry season in January. 180-degree difference. The rainy season, I mean, it sounds bad, but it's not. It's the actual weather is very nice. There's definitely a good chance of running into some kind of rain each day, usually at night, and it comes down pretty hard. But once it's done, then everything else is fine at that point, and extremely comfortable temperature-wise, no matter if it's the rainy season or the dry season. And going to the project in October, I've never seen so much mud and water in my whole life. It's almost impossible not to run into an issue with getting mud all over you and trying to stay dry for the most part. So but it was a great experience. And then coming in January, it's completely different. It's a little warmer. It's definitely drier, of course. In fact, I don't know if maybe a couple of sprinkles I ran into in reference to being down there in January, but it's no matter, as I said, if it's the rainy season or the dry season, they're both beautiful to be involved with and be there.
Well,
And
maybe
I
just one
don't
more
know if
thing for
yes,
maybe just one more thing. For people, okay, I say this because when Mike was, for those of you watching replay or you're hearing Mike talk, Mike was with us in October, but he was also with us with another client that came down and spent 10 days. And Mike was part of the northern trip and the central trip and the southern trip. And we saw all the key developments that are brother and sister projects that you might select from prices from low to high. When there would be one thing, I know it is for me. I want, I haven't asked Mike. He doesn't know what questions I'm going to ask him. When there's one thing that you could clearly and distinguishably differentiate Playa Mariana from all of the other projects that we saw, of course, the coffee plantation and cigar factories don't count, but the beach projects. Okay, in your mind, what would that be? Or describe to me what you saw that makes it that.
I think the biggest difference that I saw of all the properties that have been developed over the last 20 plus years with Playa Mariana, the beach itself was
Yeah.
absolutely wide and beautiful and flat, and it's just an absolute beautiful area. And all the other developments, it was very, very different. It was mostly rock or rocky, and it didn't have a real swimmable area in most of those places. In fact, I think most of them didn't allow any swimming at all. And Playa Mariana was just night and day compared to the other properties. And not to say anything bad about the other properties either, but the actual beach area, the whole beach area is just absolutely flat, beautiful, great place to walk, great place to go out and swim, but it's just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, Mike. I would say by far the number one strategic advantage that we have in the development that makes us completely different than anybody else is the length of the beach in which you can walk and have open and uninterrupted, the quality of the beach to be able to go in the water. And you went in the water, Mike, right? What did you
Oh
just
yeah.
describe for me when you like went in the water when we went in there? How was that in your own words?
Well, you had to go out a fairly good distance to be able to get out to the water and say probably close to waist high. It was really beautiful. The water itself was really it wasn't bath water, but it wasn't anything cold in reference to it. It was refreshing, and it was beautiful just to be able to go swim around and everything like that. So just a real great spot in reference to it. And again, where Playa Mariana is, you can walk probably, I would say probably 20 kilometers in either direction and not really run into too many people. It's just a very quiet area, and it's something that I really have never seen anywhere else in the world.
Yeah, that was very amazing when we were swimming in the water. Like we're looking like how far away do you think is the edge of the land? And so I think we thought we were up to like our waist, and it was maybe about 800 feet. I think we are talking 700 or 800 feet to the edge.
Easy.
And
Yeah.
we're just at our waist. We could go deeper, but we just went there,
Yeah.
right?
It was absolutely amazing. Really.
That's great. Thank Mike. I really appreciate you coming on the line. And
No
for those of
problem.
you who are just watching and listening to this for the first time, when you come to Playa Mariana, the beachfront is just absolutely completely amazing. In fact, it's just yesterday or at the top of this page, I'm telling you, like, welcome to the other side. And you're in it. Just watch the video at the top of this page, wherever you're looking at this replay. And it's me on the beach. Well, today's February 28th. So yesterday, February 27th, I was on the land making that video, and it is spectacular. In fact, if it doesn't choke you up and make you question why you're working or why you exist in life to have some time or some space or something you deserve, then I just don't know what will. Because I know I sometimes put this tagline, because you deserve it, but it's not until you get away from the phone, okay, and you're in the water and you feel the heat and you see that no one's around you and it's like this peace comes upon you, it changes you. It changes you. So